It's 2002. William is 14 years old. He is standing outside his school, not walking in, just standing there, watching other kids go through the gate like it's a normal day. He knows the number $80. That's what his family needs to keep him in school. They don't have it. That year, a famine hit Malawi. Half the country had no food. His family was eating one meal a day, sometimes less. His father crops failed, the money was simply not there. So William stands there, watches the gate, then turns around and walks home. No dramatic movement, no slow motion, just a 14 years old boy walking away from school in the heat and dust, knowing no one is coming to help. He goes home, sits down, and for months he does nothing. Because what do you do when the only door out just closes in your face? You need to understand what his village looked like in 2002. No electricity at all. When the sun went down, everything went dark, real dark. You couldn't read, you couldn't study, you just waited for morning. No running water, crops needed rain, and that year the rain wasn't enough. His neighbors were only thinking about food. Where is the next meal coming from? Nobody was thinking about building anything new. They were just trying to survive. William was supposed to feel the same way, and for a while he did. But when you have nothing to do all day, your mind starts going to strange places. There was a small library in his town, old donated books, things other people didn't want anymore. William started going there, not because he had a plan, just to do something. Because sitting at home watching his family suffer felt worse than anything. One day he picked up a book called Using Energy, an American textbook written for fifth graders. It had a pictures, drawing of windmills, showing how wind can make electricity. He couldn't read all the English, but he could understand the pictures, and something inside him woke up. He was sitting in that library, a 14 years old boy, kicked out of school, one meal a day, no electricity in his village. And one thought came to him: I can build that. Not someday, not if I get money, right now, with what is already here. That one quiet thought in a dusty library. That was everything. That was the turning point. Everything after that happened because he refused to let that thought go. He told his family he was going to build a windmill. They thought he was a crazy. And honestly, who could blame them? No money, no tools, no training. He was 14, underfed, and out of school for months. He went to the junkyard, found an old bicycle frame, some fan blades from a tractor, a broken car part, PVC pipe, pieces of metal nobody wanted, and he started building. Neighbors walked past and laughed. They called him Misala, which means crazy. Kids pointed at him. Adults shook their heads. His own mother was embarrassed and asked him to stop. He didn't stop. Every single day, he worked on it. Something didn't work. He figured out why, then tried again, went back to the library, looked at the pictures, came home, tried again. He wasn't fearless. He felt the pain of people laughing at him. Being called crazy by your own community when you are already at your lowest, that hurts. But he kept going because the other option was going back to that house and doing nothing. And he couldn't do that anymore. The day he connected the windmill to a light bulb inside his family home, it worked. The light turned on. His little sisters screamed. His mother covered her mouth. His father just stared at the bulb like he couldn't believe it was real. William stood there, 14 years old, covered in grease and dust, watching his family see electric light inside their own home for the very first time. Think about that. A boy couldn't stay in school because his family didn't have $80, just powered his house with wind, with junk from a junkyard, with a textbook he could barely read, with nothing but time, stubbornness, and one thought he refused to give up on. Word travels fast in a small village. The same people who called him crazy started knocking on his door, asking him to bring electricity to their homes too. He built more windmills, then a water pump that pulled clean water up from underground. Now his village didn't have to walk miles for water anymore. A journalist heard about it, then a blogger, then someone sent a video to TED. In 2007, William Komkomba, a boy who couldn't pay school fees just 5 years before, stood on a TED stage in front of some of the smartest and most educated people in the world. He was 19 years old. He got a standing ovation before he even finished his first sentence. He went to college, got his degree, wrote a book called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Netflix turned it into a movie. Millions of people watched it. And it all started with Junkyard, a bicycle frame, and a boy who refused to believe his story was finished. Here is what gets me about William's story. He had no mentor, no money, no connections, nobody telling him it was going to work. He had one library book with pictures in it, that's all. So now I want to ask you something, and I want you to really answer it. Don't just let it pass by. What have you been waiting for permission to start? Most of us, something we want to build, something we keep putting off because the time isn't right, because we don't have the money or the degree or the right connections or enough experience. William had none of that. He had a junkyard and free afternoon. You have more than that right now, I promise you. The question is not whether you have enough to start. The question is, are you going to let other people's opinion of what possible become the limit of your life? William was 14, hungry, out of school. People in his village were literally laughing at him. And he is still built the thing. So what is stopping you? I am asking for real. What is your windmill? In this story means something to you. Share it with one person. Someone who is going through a hard time right now. Someone who needs to hear that condition don't have to be perfect before you begin. A junkyard and free afternoon is enough to start. You might be the reason they don't give up today.